Let's look at the latest on the climate front. And there've been quite a few changes, Andrew, since the last election. I know it's only 2% less in terms of the Labor target, but a lot of other moving pieces have shifted. No two elections are the same, and I guess the government road testing a few of its attack lines in response to this Albanese approach.
Yes, you haven't seen the confidence from Scott Morrison and Angus Taylor, his minister, who was on the program with Kieran earlier, in terms of really getting stuck into Labor on this climate target. They've set 43% reduction in emissions by 2030. That could come, of course, in the months ahead, but it's a slow start for them. And Scott Morrison in Wentworth today, that seat where climate's an issue. Malcolm Turnbull was the member. Kerryn Phelps was the independent member. Dave Sharma won it back by 1.3% in 2019. Clearly feeling under threat here. Scott Morrison coming up with that old argument, if you vote for the independent here, you're not just sending me a message, you could put the country under the control of Anthony Albanese. Let's listen to that first.
Protecting our local environment, whether it's here in Wentworth or down in my local electorate. In this term, we were able to get Dave Sharma elected, and that's also because Dave does such a great job here on the ground. You know, at this election, next year, it is a choice. It's a choice between the Liberals and the Nationals and Labor and the Greens. And at the end of the day, someone's going to be chairing Cabinet, and that's going to be me or Anthony Albanese. Someone's going to be chairing the National Security Committee of Cabinet and making decisions about keeping Australians safe in our region. Who you choose locally, whether it's a member of the government in the form of Dave Sharma or anyone else, the only way you can ensure that we can secure our economic recovery and keep Australians safe in these uncertain times is supporting the Liberals and Nationals candidates.
Almost a plea there from Scott Morrison, but I expect to hear it at least a couple of hundred more times before what's likely to be a May election. And of course, it mirrors his argument at the last election. But is Bill Shorten and Anthony Albanese, are they on the same level when it comes to people's views of them? Is Anthony Albanese as unpopular as Bill Shorten, or is he seen by people as not competent enough to sit in that Prime Minister's chair? Well, we'll find out, won't we, with Scott Morrison pushing his experience there. Let's listen to a similar line from Scott Morrison during the 2019 election campaign.
So it's crystal clear. At this election, it's a choice between me as Prime Minister and Bill Shorten as Prime Minister. You vote for me, you'll get me. You vote for Bill Shorten and you'll get Bill Shorten.
All right, well, let's look at these seats that the leaders visited today. Let's start with Wentworth. And you can see it used to be Blue Ribbon Liberal. John Hewson, the former Liberal leader, was the member. Bob Ellicott, the former Attorney General, and some of the richest suburbs in Australia here. But as is seeming to happen, some of those rich suburbs go sort of blue-green, as they call it. And so you've got Allegra Spender running there on a climate campaign, and clearly the government's worried. Then you've got Warringah. Well, it wasn't visited today, but there was all the discussion about Gladys for Warringah. So you see the government wants it back. Zali Steggall, she beat Tony Abbott by 7.2%. It's going to be pretty hard to knock her off. And then Dobell, well, that's where Anthony Albanese was. And interestingly, here on the New South Wales Central Coast, he went up for an announcement. It wasn't to do with his new climate policy. It was to do with skills and TAFE and apprenticeships and university places. So it wasn't really his preference to talk climate there. We know there are a lot of retired resources workers from the Hunter Valley there, Kieran.